Oh, well, what can I say? But Campbell's curse has struck again. Claimed it. Where are you going? You can't hide from this, Louie. No, you can't, Louie. Honestly, you can see it everything. He's trying to slide down the shop. He's trying to do it now, Louie. You are staying in shot. If I've got to do this, you've got to do it too. Now come here now. Sit still and just sit there for however long it is. Oh, I had such high hopes for you Blues. I really did. It's a really difficult season for us in Steel Territory. So when it came to the playoffs, I felt, well, if I'm going to be forced to watch this shit fest, I thought I could say something that wasn't good, but I couldn't. So if I was going to be forced to watch this shit fest, I thought I'd pick a team that I wouldn't mind hoisting that cup in October, you know, in Ross's place. And so I thought, well, I didn't mind the Blues winning last year, even though obviously they get knocked out in the Western Finals. But you don't hold grudges if you've been knocked out in the Conference Finals. Only if you've been beaten Stanley Cup, you're allowed to hold a grudge. So I didn't really mind the Blues win last year. Plus, I wasn't really pulling the bar last year because I felt if they were to win it, it would be the greatest story ever told. And it is, and it has. We've got another video for that coming up. That one you might like, Louie, but this one right now, no. You can tell, no, he's not enjoying it, isn't he? You see the terror on his face! You've got no idea how to end it, though. But yeah, and I had such high hope, but yet again, you let us down. And the Campbell curse strikes again, claiming it's victim. Who is it going to be? If it can't be Louie, who is it going to be? Well, we'll have to start that question from here. But where did it go wrong for St. Louis? Because what was quite interesting throughout this regular season, before we hit the pause, how both of last year's finalists, the Bruins and of course the Blues, were showing no signs of fatigue. I thought, well, for me, throughout my time in the NHL, I've always been keeping an eye on the two teams that went to the Cup final. The first part of the following year, because I feel I always like to see is there any fatigue being on show, because it's a big thing to go through from October all the way through to June. I know with one of the finalists you do see the fatigue and they're struggling out a lot. With the other, you see they're doing okay, but they're sort of in the mix, but not really challenging that much because you know they've just literally come back from the Cup final. But what's so interesting about this year's regular season is that neither of the two Stanley Cup finalists were showing signs of rustiness, no sign of fatigue, and both these teams, if we had have gone the whole way, if we didn't have to go through the pause, these two teams could have been the top two seeds in the respective conferences going into the playoffs and easily could have been a rematch. Oh, I so wanted that rematch because it was just such a fantastic Stanley Cup final last year compared to the snooze fest we had the year before with Vegas and Washington. But yeah, so that's Vegas for you. I really loved last year's Cup final. I actually loved last year's final as a whole. I'm going to do so much more on that because I love last year's final. Despite the fact it didn't go the way of the deal and instead went the way of the Blue. I was happy for you, I was. Honestly. Yeah, so and so we're not going to get the rematch this year. Hopefully not next year, because next year's going to be far away. Yeah, so where did it go wrong? Well, could we blame this on the pause? Because it was 5 months of difference, you know, and a lot of teams, you know, it's a lot of taking here, a lot of time off, you struggle to go to try and find ways to keep yourself in shape without having to go to the practice spring. And then you had to make the move to Edmonton. And yeah, and I think the worrying signs for the Blues were there in the exhibition game, because out of all the exhibition games, the one I was looking forward to was the Blues Blackhawks game, because I just love that rivalry. I think it was a brilliant, fantastic rivalry that has lasted the test of time, especially despite the fact that DCPs may have gone different ways, it still managed to last the test of time. Whereas our rivalry with LA is sort of basically fizzled, it's not exciting anymore. But with this rivalry, with Lewis Blackhawks, it's still managed to be an intense rivalry throughout many of these people play, especially if it's all in the Classics back in 2017. Okay, so that was probably all running from there when the Blues got shut out, but you could argue the exhibition getting games were kind of seen as a warm-up for the main event. And then we go into the round robin, and the Blues easily could have been top seed. Easily. They easily could have won each of those games. The Colorado one was a bit of a disaster, and I think this is what probably set the wheels in motion for the demise. Because in hockey, sometimes there's a moment that happens in the game you didn't even see coming, and it can affect you just in the head and think, alright, it's all messy game up. So the Blues did have it was a tight game up, they had a 1-0 lead, then the Colorado tied it, then there was just a couple of seconds to go, the Blues were prepared to kill, it looked like overtime, and then, Colorado scored, but the buzzer, and it was on with all the fakes, and I loved how they showed all different angles, but I just felt I couldn't really tell what if it had. So I thought, well, if we couldn't tell, let's just put it in the goal. But no, it didn't work with the goal, and yeah, probably we'll put that one. Then we move on to Vegas. This is the one I was looking forward to because throughout the regular season, I had been saying that the 2020 Western Conference Final easily could be Blues and Vegas, and hopefully the Blues would have won. And those 3 matchups we saw between the Golden Knights and the Blues was so intense. That would have been a great matchup, which is still yet to be in the making. It was a very cat and mouse game. And then eventually, despite having lead, the third, Blues bolted and Vegas takes it. So we know by that point there was no way they could have got top. The best was to go to third, and it looked like it was going to get third. And then again, Dynamo is the third, it's tied, it does go to extra innings, all goes to shootout, and unfortunately the Stars take it. So that means Blues. They did manage to get 1 point, unlike the other finalists last year. Boston got nothing, they're out of them. So the Blues always get a point, but it just makes you question, what is going on? What is going on? And should we be concerned? Now, it didn't mean that in the first round the matchup would be against Vancouver, and I think that's a fairly tight matchup. I think it was going to be a fair tight matchup. I think really the only easy matchup you could have seen for the Blues would have been Arizona, just because the fact that Canadians had not been in the playoffs since the London Olympics. And the other 3 easily could have been tight. I so would have loved to have seen the Blackhawks and Blues in that first round, but hey, never mind. So the Blues got Vancouver, and it looked like a tight matchup, but then the worrying starts to set in if you are a Blues fan, or if like me, you are being an Orange Blues to be supposed to playoff. Vancouver hit the first game by a hefty margin. And for Blues, it's very unlikely you get able to win every game in the playoff. We only have 16 magic number. But game 2, I felt should have been a win for the Blues, and there were so many couple of mistakes there that cost them, despite the fact they managed to force to come back into overtime, and it was a couple of mistakes that just cost them. They did manage to rebound and win game 3 and 4, and that gives you a similar hope. You think, yes, series tied, back in it, no problem. And despite that the Blues were up 3-1 in game 5, they blew the lead again. A theme in these 2020 pods for the St. Louis Blues, giving up leads, and Vancouver was skate away and hold on for a victory in game 5, and then they absolutely dominated game 6, and now unfortunately that ends the end of the Blues. So let's start this up. What were the factors that sort of led to the Blues instead of becoming back-to-back champs to Campbell's victim number 6? Well, we could argue the pause played a big factor because it looked like these people were going to both Blues and Red sort of skate away at the top senior effective chat conference. We could blame it on that. We could argue that Lincoln was not up to scratch in camping the year before. Or we could argue that maybe the expectations were just too high. We've got to remember that the Blues story last year was an incredible thing that nobody saw coming. And while they had high hopes to repeat, we all know how tough it is to get back into the Stanford final. And I always feel, whenever I talk about the state of the Blues, I always look at them and think, this is a team that should at least have at least 3 solid covers in the bank by now, and yet it's only 1. Because they've had an impressive start when they first back in 1967, and yet just haven't been able to really do it. So, just what could this mean going forward? Well, maybe for the Blues, it's a chance to regroup, and they could potentially be a contender next year. Who knows? But sadly, the Blues are victim number 6, and I think that end it here because I've got on there. Yeah, end it there. That's all I've got to say. But one more thing, Louie. This is how I feel, and everybody will feel right now, that we used to win.
I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you? Learn something from this. When you go to bed at night, you lay there and you take responsibility for yourself, because nobody's going to take responsibility for you. You roll in your eyes and you act like this because you've heard it all before. You've heard it all before. You don't know where the hell I come from. You have no idea what I've been through. But I'm not a victim. I grow from it and I learn. Take responsibility for yourself.